Hey guys, welcome to Visualization. My name is Nestor Adrian Sen, and in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you guys how to use if statement formulas in Excel 2016. But before we get started, please hit the subscribe button if you don't want to miss anything. Alright guys, no more talking and let's do it. Today we're going to talk about three different topics, okay? So we're going to learn about the if functions, the CountIF functions, and finally we're going to learn about the famous nested if functions as well. This is going to be fun and let's keep going. So the if function allows you to make logical comparisons between a value and what you expect. So the simple if function has just one logical test and two possible outcomes, true or false. So the syntax right here is quite straightforward. Equal if, open parentheses, logical test, a value if it's true, and then another value if it's false. All right. If you are like me, so you will learn by doing. So let's have a quick example right here. So this data, just to give you a little bit of background. So this data has new employees who were hired this year. And there we have the start date. And then we also have the end of year bonus, which is an empty column. And we have right here on the right side, the latest start date to get a bonus. And then we have a question right here. Who will get an end of year bonus? So in order to solve this question, we are going to use the if statement here, the if formula. Okay, let's do it real quick. Equal here, if, open parentheses. The logical test is going to be the start date. So right here, remember, right? If a new employee was hired the latest March 1st, they will get a bonus. So it means that if the start date is less or equal to, in this case, the latest start date is this one right here, and we need to fix this cell. Fn F4, depending on your computer, it can be just F4, comma, if it's true, so we know that this person will get a bonus, right? Quotation marks, because this is text, and then if it's false, quotation marks again, and let's type right there no. Close parentheses, and let's hit enter. Boom. Okay, so now let's copy this formula. Boom. There you guys have it. So the question was, who will get an end of year bonus? I'm going to teach you guys here a trick as well. So let's add a filter to this column. Control Shift L, you can add filters. And let's filter here for yes. See, okay? Boom. Right there we have 5 people who will be getting a bonus this year. So that's good news for them, right? Let's keep going. The CountIF function is a good one as well. It's one of the statistical functions that allows you to count the number of cells that meet a certain criteria. Okay, so the syntax is quite straightforward. Right here, equal CountIF, open parentheses. Where do you want to look? What do you want to look for? Okay, so where do you want to look? It's basically the range of cells. What do you want to look for? It can be a certain text or a certain value. Let's take a quick look at this example because we like examples, right? So this data right here represents the US tourists who travel to a different country for vacation. And then we also have right here how much money they spent on that trip. Okay? So on the right side, we have 4 different questions. So we want to know how many tourists travel to Peru. That's the first question. And let's answer right now. And we're going to use the CountIF function. Okay? Equal here, CountIF, and then the range in this case should be country because we are looking for Peru, comma, and the criteria right here should be Peru because this is text, open quotation marks, and type Peru right there. Close parentheses, and let's hit enter. Boom. We have 2 people who travel to Peru. Good for them, right? Next one. Let's figure out how many people travel to Scotland. The same strategy here, count if, country again, comma, and in this case, the criteria should be Scotland, right? Don't forget about the quotation marks, Scotland. Another advice here, let's make sure that you're spelling correctly as well. Let's hit enter. Boom, we know that just one person traveled to Scotland. Now let's take a look at the travel expenses. Same strategy here, equal, count if, but in this case, the range is going to be travel expense, right? Comma, criteria. In this case, we have a math operator and a number. So because we have that combination, we also need to use quotation marks. If this is greater or equal to 12,000, close quotation marks, close parentheses, enter, boom. We have 6 people who spent at least $12,000. That's a lot of money. They might be rich people, right? Equal here, count if, and in this case, the range is going to be the same, travel expense, comma, quotation marks, less than 8,000, right? Hit enter, boom. So we know that 2 people spend less than $8,000. Let's double check if that's correct. So less than $8,000, we have right here one person, Brown, and then we also have Johnson. That's correct. We only have 2 people who spent less than $8,000. So that's good. And that's what we have, guys. So now let's talk about the famous nested if functions. Okay, a nested if function means that one if function is inside of another. This allows you to test multiple criteria and increases the number of outcomes. Of course, nesting refers to the practice of joining multiple functions together in just one formula. So the syntax right here, it's quite overwhelming, but don't worry, we will get there. So for the syntax, we have equal if, open parentheses, logical test, and then if it's true, we have the value right there. If it's false, we have many more options there. And that's when we have to use the nested if functions. Let's take a quick look at this example. We have a table. This is a fictitious insurance company that provides insurance for devices. And we have 4 different programs. We have the retail price ranges right there for each device. And then we have the monthly payment based on the retail price. We also have right here a question. So find the program and monthly payment for each client. Of course, we have right here client, device, retail price for each device, and then we have program and monthly payment, which are empty. And that's our job. We need to figure out the programs and the monthly payments for each client. As you can see right here, the retail price, we don't have a specific number for each program, but we have ranges right there. This is what we're gonna do. So let's type right here retail price. If you realize, let's type right here 0, and right here 500, right here 1,500, and then right here 2,500. We're doing this because those numbers are the limits, right, among the different programs that we have right there. So now let's use the nested if functions to figure out the program. Okay, so equal right here if, and then the retail price is going to be the logical test. If this is, in this case, if this is greater than this number right here, but remember that this number should be fixed. Okay, so let's use F4 or FN, F4, depends on your computer. If it's true, so the program should be D, right? Open quotation mark, D, quotation mark. If it's false, we have many more options there. If it's false, it can be C, B, or A. That's when we have to use the nested if function there. If again, open parentheses, logical test is going to be the same. If this is greater than 1,500, remember that we have to fix this. This should be C, right? So what does it mean? Remember that we already evaluated for D, right? If it's greater than 2,500, we know that it's going to be D. But now we are evaluating for C. So this is basically saying that every value that is higher than 1,500 but less or equal to 2,500 should be C, because we already evaluated for D, right, which is greater than 2,500. So that's the logic. I'm going to show you guys a chart so you can visualize that better. So the same analogy we have to use for B and A. So if it's false, we have two more options. If right here, open parentheses, logical test is going to be the same. If this is greater, right here, so we have, in this case, let's fix this one right here, comma, and in this case, if this is true, this should be B, comma right here. If this is false, we need to put right there A, right? Now we have to close parentheses. Remember, we have 3 parentheses there. So now let's hit enter and see what happens. Boom. So we know that John McGill has insured a phone. The retail price for that phone was $800, and for $800, this guy is going to be part of the B program. Let's check right here, B program, $800, yes. That's correct. All right, so now let's copy this formula. Double click, boom. Now let's find out the monthly payment for each client. So the strategy is going to be the same, very similar, equal right here, if, open parentheses, logical test is going to be the same, and right here, the logical test, if this is greater than this number, boom right here, don't forget to fix this cell, comma, if that's true, so this value should be $45. So remember that we can fix that value as well. And then if it's false, we have more options there, right? That's when we have to use the nested if function. If again, logical test, if this is greater, in this case that greater than 1,500, don't forget to fix this. If that's true, we have to use right here $35, right? And in this case, we have to fix that as well. This is the same logic, right? We already evaluated for devices that are greater than 2,500. And now we are evaluating for devices that are greater than 1,500, but less or equal to 2,500. So that's why we are using this analogy, okay? If it's false, we have another nested if function there. And right there, logical test is going to be the same, but in this case, greater than 500, right? Remember that we have to fix this, okay? And then if it's true, so how much money is this customer paying? $25. Boom. If it's false, that customer should pay, remember that we have to fix this as well. If it's false, that customer should pay $15, and this should be fixed as well. Now let's close parentheses and hit enter. Boom. So this guy, John McGill, will be paying $25. Let's double check that. Program B, yes, $25. Perfect. All right, so let's copy this formula. Boom. Let's double check this information for Isabella McIntosh, for example. So program C, $2,000. It's right here. That's correct. Program C, how much money? $35. So we are good. All right, so that's how it works. It seems overwhelming, but trust me, it's all about practice. Keep practicing, you will get there. All right, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If this was helpful, please give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss anything.